What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my bearded buddy Ryan as we break down Thursday's 7-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. Hopefully you all enjoyed your NBA All-Star break, maybe partook, in some golf showdown, in some NASCAR. That did not go well. Some NHL this week. That was fun. Always is. I always enjoy this week. I only played once, though, because it was nice to have a little bit of time off. I was focused a little bit on the golf streets. More research for that. But Ryan, how was your All-Star break?
It's fantastic. I didn't really have to worry about getting any sort of lineups in. Just casually played some lineups here and there and some golf and some NASCAR just to have something to do. That was the worst NBA slam dunk contest ever. With
I saw 0 seconds of it in real time, and I have not. The only thing I went back to watch was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on Twitter walking out as Jalen Green was missing dunk after dunk. I thought
that was just absolutely brutal, an unmitigated disaster, if you want to say. That was brutal. Hopefully they change up the format or penalize people for missed dunks or something where they got to fix something up because it's broken now. Because Aaron Gordon and Zach Levine put on the show that really broke it, where no one can really top them, and we were blessed with an amazing dunk contest in was that 16 or 17 or 18, I forget, but it was a good three-year run there. And then the NBA 3-point contest is actually the fun part now. And as the game has evolved,
well, it helps if you bet it and win it, right?
Oh yeah, I mean the 13-1 odds, I'll take that any day for Cat. And there was some footage
underrated from 3.
Yeah, there was some footage where he just didn't miss in practice, and just browsing through some pregame comments, and you just got to bet on the confidence. And once you get that
confidence,
Pack
is sharper than all of us. Instagram, you have to go to the comments, and again, he backed it up. Check out the ticket on Twitter at Rinpack. Go check him out. Go give him a follow. Give me a follow too while you're at it. At Eric Lindquist. We enjoy posting our tickets. He's not a big screenshot guy though, so I do enjoy that you're posting these betting tickets, getting people a glimpse behind the glass at what you really do.
Yeah, the betting tickets, I think, in terms of just farming some engagement, might be the move. I mean, it just might be the move. I understand why people do DFS screenshots, but I mean, it's just not my thing. I just feel like I don't want to do them. But to those who do, that's completely fine. Everyone has their each way of doing it, and it's their each own. I just have chose not to do the DFS screenshot route. But I mean, celebrating success is one thing that you got to do in life. And if DFS screenshot is that way to do it, that's albeit.
Well, also so that I never have people being like, you don't play, Eric. You don't even play. I literally play.
Okay. I mean, okay. I'll back up. I'll back up Eric. Eric has been playing DFS much longer than me. He deserves a lot of respect in these streets. It's very hard to deliver content and be a good player at the same time. And Eric is the cream of the crop there.
Oh.
And Eric deserves a lot of respect in these streets. I know there's people on chat who will give Eric a hard time, and Eric comes out to battle day in and day out. So he deserves a lot of credit because he does both extremely well at a high level, and it's not very easy. It takes a lot of work. So
I'm touched. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell so you know when this and all the other content at Awesemo is going on.
I'm being honest, man. It's not easy to do both.
Yeah, there's a lot. People don't understand. It's like you're in the Zoom room, you're talking, you're trying to host a good show, you're trying to be entertaining, sometimes too entertaining, but for the most part, you should have a lot of your prep done so you can go into the shows and be ready to talk about any situation or things randomly pop up. These are the streets that we're just comfortable with. We do this on a day in, day out basis. That's going to come in a lot of handy tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be crazy. I think there's already a ton of value. We have a lot of injuries that exist. I will not be on live before lock though tomorrow, which is very strange because normally Tuesday through Friday I'm on every single day, including Sunday as well. But I get this Thursday off. We're basically treating it as a Monday, and I will be back on Friday. But we'll be on the prop show, the locks before lock. Looking forward to that. Check it out. But Ryan, we've got 7 games here. I'm feeling the warm and fuzzies now. You ready to get going, my sweet, sweet friend?
Let's do it.
What?
Let's ride.
There it is. I don't know how to respond to that. Top end, Moran, 10-4. I do remember you saying he's a 9K player. That tells me that against Minnesota, maybe not your favorite guy at 10-4, although he's pretty good at basketball. And if he's going to be full blast, again, knee looked fine there in the old Cleveland, so I'm excited. Steph Curry, 10-2. Price is coming down, going up against a Portland team that we'll get to, because Nurkic, a lot of pieces there that we're looking at. Kyrie Irving out for Brooklyn, but it sounds like is going to be able to return to New York games very, very soon. Looks like they're going to be lifting the vaccine requirement to be able to be a worker within New York, which means that for New York Knicks visiting games or for Brooklyn home games, which is the thing that matters way, way more for him, because that's where he's playing half of his games, that he will be available to play. Trae Young, 9,900 there going up against Chicago, though. And then the big news for me that I think changes a lot of what I want to do on this slate, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is back, but 8,900, so they're not going to be shutting him down for the year. But there are a number of OKC pieces that are going to be out. Ty Jerome, Lou Dort, Kenrich Williams, KZ Okpala is a new acquirement there from OKC. Robinson Earl's going to be out. I mean, they are going to be pretty short on bodies here. Are we going to be just firing up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander first time back, sub 9K on DraftKings?
No, I think I want to shy away from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. On the other side is the key news to the game, is to the slate. Chris Paul is out until the playoffs, and Chris Paul unfortunately got hit with his annual injury, and that's going to be the D-Book show at 8,800. Now, people are going to flock to campaign if he plays. I'm not sure if he's playing. There's been conflicting reports all over the place, and then there's been pressers from campaign himself.
I saw he was officially ruled out today. That came through this afternoon.
And I do think it was changed afterwards on him being on a practice report or not. So it's going back and forth, I want to say, with campaign. It's going to be something to pay attention to throughout the day. Now, if campaign plays, I think he's a great play. He was pretty great in the playoff run last year, and obviously secured himself a contract for the foreseeable future. Now, if there's no campaign, we've seen the likes of Aaron Holiday enter the life over there. Elfrid Payton's still in the picture. So you keep an eye. That's some key news to the slate. Another important news on the slate is Darius Garland has been ruled out, and that's going to leave us to play a lot of Rajon Rondo at $3,900 in a matchup versus Detroit. And I think he's a great value play himself. This is just gearing up to spend down at guard a decent amount with the available value there is. If you're looking for some other OKC value, I think it's fine targeting some of those guys. I just feel like guys like, if there's no campaign, Aaron Holiday is great. If there's obviously there's no Garland, but if there is no Garland, Rondo is great at $3,900. So that gives up a lot of, you're going to occupy some guards there. And the opportunity cost is, I think you're really worried about missing out on an 8,800 D-Book, who's great. I think looking at 10-4 John Moran in the Minnesota spot, he played awful in the All-Star game. He was awfully hungover. He was just partying all weekend long based on Instagram Live. But Steph Curry was an assassin. I believe he had 16 threes, which is great.
It's a real thing.
And he had the narrative going for charity. So he fulfilled the narrative for me, which was nice. But I just missed out on Showdown the other day on the All-Star game with Steph Curry. Yeah, there's a ton of guards. I mean, spending down just stands out just because of how strong that value is. And I think they're going to be asked to play a ton of minutes with those guys who are missing. But any guys in the mid-range, there's Anthony Edwards, 7,500. Obviously, he has 50-point upside. Cade Cunningham, well-rested, 6,600. I think he's $1,000 too cheap if he's playing full minutes. I know, tough Cleveland matchup. So those are some solid mid-tier guys.
Yeah, but the matchup's a lot better with no Karis LeVert, no Darius Garland. You're going to get Brandon Goodwin and Rajon Rondo and Cedi Osman defense. So a little bit different. Not that we're looking at individual matchups. Still, Jared Allen's going to be clogging the lane. Lauri Markkanen's going to be back in our lives tomorrow. Good for him. That's fun to see. That's one of my favorite things about All-Star Weekend is the guys who've just been hitting the caution button. You know, you've been hitting the caution button for weeks. They tend to show up now, and that's what's fun to see with Shai. Fun to see with Lauri Markkanen going to be back in the picture. But what you talked about, I'm still looking at Cameron Payne. Again, we want to be paying attention to that news because Elfrid Payton and Aaron Holiday become two of the most important players to talk about on this slate in the event that you have, that you have no Cameron Payne returning. If Cameron Payne returns, I will be firing him up, I'm pretty sure. Let's head over to guard on FanDuel here. Top end, John Morant, 10K there. DeMar DeRozan's 10-6 shooting guard eligible. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 9K there. it's in play-ish, but Steph Curry's 9,300. That's a broken tag against Portland. We know is kind of upside, and we just saw it, obviously, in the All-Star game. Maybe it just hits the ground and runs because it hasn't been so great of late, but it's definitely started to adjust down there a little bit. But Devin Booker, 8,800, even better play on FanDuel. There's really nothing that would stop me from rostering a ton of him on FanDuel or anybody else for that matter. But last guy I want to throw into the mix, Zach Levine, 7,900, knee's fine. Coming back, I was worried about it because obviously beforehand he was getting flown to see specialists about his knee, and then all of a sudden he's playing in the All-Star game. So riddle me that, Batman. 7,900 or Zach Levine on FanDuel. You interested?
Man, yeah, it's concerning, obviously. With the knee situation, there might be some in-game management where he might not be playing always high 30s until the playoffs, and we might just see him in the low 30s. This is just me just foreshadowing and forecasting what the coaching staff might do.
Yeah, there's less than 25 games left for every team, so you're on it. I think that's a great point.
And I mean, that's definitely getting those little detailed responses and process and especially as the season winds down, can definitely help you pivot off some quote unquote bad chalk. But then again, we really won't know what the edge is. I mean, I think Cade Cunningham at $6,000 is awesome. And then obviously the spend on guys like Rondo at 3,900 looks great. And then we've touched on Aaron Holiday. He's the min. The reason, obviously, Aaron Holiday in his career has been a decent, not great fantasy point per guy. He's been always surrounded with guys who are high usage guys. If there is no campaign, I think the 3,500 in OKC is where you want to take your chances, especially on FanDuel. He's the min, and it's a great spot. We really won't get that for Aaron Holiday if there is going to be no campaign. But spending up here, Devin Booker is like the highlight, 8,800. Everyone else around him is fine. We've seen Anthony Simons, 7,600 Golden State matchup. No Nurkic now. Even more extra shots for him to shoot from the outside. A dark horse to win most improved player at long shot odds at this point. But he's 7,600. I think it's fine. It's a tough spot against Golden State, but he's just going to potentially shoot 20, 25 shots a game down the stretch. So that's where you want to still ride a $7,600 price tag before it gets too expensive. Now we get Pat Beverly taking on $5,400. The minutes are great for Pat Bev. He's playing well. I think you definitely ride with Pat Bev at that price tag. And as gross as it sounds, because of the lack of bodies there, Isaac Okoro against Detroit, 3,700. Minutes play only, but buyer beware.
Yeah, him and Cedi Osman, I think they're both going to be in play on this slate. Once again, you're talking about Rajon Rondo, the corpse of Brandon Goodwin's going to have to play a lot of guard minutes. I think that we've seen point Cedi. Cedi's played some point. I don't think it's too far-fetched to think he plays a lot of minutes. And Isaac Okoro plays a lot of minutes for this team no matter what. So I'm just fine with both of them. Glad you had that shout out. Simons was the guy I wanted to bring up as we work down the board. Glad that you brought him up. 7,600 there, 7,900 for him on DraftKings. 8,100 for him on DraftKings. That's not nearly as advantageous as what it's going to be to play him on FanDuel. My dog is going nuts. Can you hear him? He's just so pissed. Oh my God, this thing. Moran, $46 on our sponsor, Yahoo. Steph Curry, $41. Trae Young, $40. Looking at Devin Booker, $38. That's really where the conversation starts for me. I just absolutely love playing him at that number. I think everybody will. But as you get further down, I'm curious what Boston's going to be doing. I obviously Marcus Smart is back there, but Derek White's $25. He's a guy that I think is going to start to just continue to play these kind of minutes for this basketball team for Boston. They're playing top tier basketball, the best that they've looked all year long here. I don't know. It feels like against Brooklyn in an up-paced spot. I mean, I don't expect 36 minutes like we saw there with Marcus Smart there again, but 30 minutes, 32 minutes, super low-owned tournament dart. I don't mind some Derek White in my life. Just that game environment could be nifty. Only a 213.5 total, but definitely a better spot for Boston than it is for Brooklyn. What do you think about prices over on Yahoo at the guard spot, Ryan?
Yeah, looking at the Yahoo price tags, there's a ton of great options down low. Obviously, Rondo 14, $10 Holiday if there's no campaign. I think going to a $10 LB, you could do worse. There's a $10 Isaac Okoro. I'm just looking at the guys who are the min because there's going to be some. I mean, these seem like decent value options to spend up elsewhere. If you want to spend up, I really like $19 Beverly, $26 Anthony Simons. I think a $38 Booker is outstanding. And then in the next year, keep an eye. There will be no Kyrie Irving tomorrow, right? The game is in Brooklyn. So
Correct.
Patty Mills is still in play at $17. Goran Dragic did practice with this team. I'm not sure if he's going to play.
He's not playing. They announced it.
They announced he's not playing. Okay. Mm-hmm. He did practice. So, yeah. So it's still Patty Mills there. Javon Carter is out of the mix as he was waived. So those Javon Carter minutes are gone. Patty Mills is in the picture. I don't mind $70 Patty Mills at that price tag. We saw Dante DiVincenzo get the start last time, and Alvin Gentry hinted that he might continue to start. I like him at $12. It's a tough Denver spot, but $12 is $12. And then Cade Cunningham at $29 seems pretty nice for the upside that he has.
Last guy that I want to ask you about, because we haven't talked about him yet, but there was a report that he's going to continue to be in the starting lineup going forward. Gary Payton II played 25 minutes, put up 35.8 Yahoo fantasy points, 35.8 there. 6 steals and a block. He's going to do stuff like that. If he's going to be on the floor here a lot, if he's out there for his defensive prowess, where it counts for 3, is he a guy that you've got your eye on?
So he was someone that I could go with more confidence when there was no Klay Thompson in the picture.
Right.
And I think people are discounting the fact that when Klay's on the court, they're going to find a way Klay's going to shoot the ball, right? Gary Payton's not going to really shoot the ball as he shouldn't. He's kind of like option 4 in the starting lineup. So yeah. It's okay. It's like if you last guy in and you want to pivot off some chalky value, I wouldn't fault you for it, but it's not something that I'm like, it's a priority pivot for me.
All right. I love that. I think that's great analysis. I just wanted to bring him up because there was that report that was something that showed up on Schmunder Schmog. Go check them out over on the old Twitters to go get some news. But go check this offer out. This is Yahoo, our sponsor. It's the same thing we always have here, and it's the best offer we have at our site, bar none. Get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Everything we offer behind the paywall for every single sport. If there is contests for it, we have content for it here. That's what Lofty says all the time, but it's true. All you have to do is deposit $10 or more, play in any paid contest over at Yahoo, where they have the lowest rate of anywhere in the industry. We're talking 12% management fee for the granny shop, the $1 over on Yahoo tomorrow. They have for the $12 contest, 11% management fee. Just like other sites, it goes down in terms of the rake usually going from some of the smaller contests to the larger ones, but it's somehow even better over on Yahoo as opposed to 17, 16% rake you're paying on the big sites. It's only 12, 11% we're talking about there. So not only are the contests great, but you get this 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Check it out. Best offer we run here at our site, bar none. Stop guessing, start winning. Join us here at Awesemo, but do it through this Yahoo promotion. Thank you so much to them for their sponsorship of the NBA Slate Starter podcast all season long. All right, my friend, let's head to forward over on DraftKings. Top end, DeMar DeRozan 10-7, Jason Tatum 9,700, Domantas Sabonis 9K. We're starting to get pretty interesting there. Obviously, Jokic exists, but Domantas Sabonis is definitely the playmaker for this Sacramento Kings team. Davion Mitchell, rookie, not really doing it. De'Aaron Fox, the assist rate started to come down here, but they're playing a lot through Sabonis, pick and roll game, a lot of other things here. I don't expect 10 for 15 efficiency all the time here for Sabonis. He's shooting 58% from the field, so don't get me wrong there, but only a 31.5% three-point shooter here. But with these assists, there's triple-double upside for a guy at 9K who's going to have to play a lot alongside Jokic there. That's not the best, but it's in play for me there. Jaylen Brown, 8,500, and then Anthony Edwards. This was the tag that jumped out at me. Coming off of 32 minutes, 0 for 8, 0 for 5 from 3. Legitimately the floor of all floor in 32 minutes against Toronto before the break. 7,500 going up against Memphis. This game should be very fun to target in terms of upside. 239 total we have out for this one. How do you feel about Anthony Edwards at 7,500?
Yeah, I hope he's well rested. In the Rising Stars game, they kind of pulled him early. He didn't really close the game there. And Anthony Edwards, if he's well rested, it's been a week or not been a week since it'd be 6 days from the Rising Stars game. So plenty of rest. I think he was battling through an injury. I love that $7,500 price tag. There's 25 shot attempts as a baseline kind of at times for him. And I like Anthony Edwards a decent amount at that price tag. Now, I think targeting that Brooklyn matchup with Jason Tatum makes a lot of sense at 9,700. Sabonis against Denver, yeah, he's going to do his thing. A 9K has 50, 60 point upside. So when those guys have tournament winning upsides, you can fall on them at that price tag. Next year, yeah, Jaylen Brown against the Brooklyn spot. These two guys combined should be shooting 50 times a game at the minimum, I think. If they want to win games, your best players should be shooting the ball, and those two guys are it. Now, if you want to spend down a little bit, I think Cade Cunningham has forward eligibility at $6,600. That's pretty outstanding. I think I prefer that to Desmond Bane. Prefer that to Darius Bazley. I mean, that's kind of getting a discount on the upside Cade Cunningham has. Now, if you want to spend down all the way a little bit, I think Otto Porter Jr. continues to get some minutes with no Draymond Green there, $3,900. I know he doesn't start, but you're looking for a guy who can potentially get you high 20s off the bench. And Otto Porter can do that in various ways, getting hot from the outside or getting some peripheral stats such as steals and blocks. I think DeAndre Hunter, $4,500 is pretty good. It's better than pretty good. I think it's pretty outstanding, honestly, for the minutes that he has and the role that he's kind of evolving into. And then cheaper forward options, there's Marvin Bagley, continues to play high teens minutes. I don't mind that for Bagley at $3,400. The guy can be a good fantasy producer when on the court. And Isaac Okoro, $3,300. It's gross, I know. I'm saying at this point, looking for some other value outside the guards we mentioned, you can consider Okoro as a guy at $3,300 because there's not many guys we've touched on cheaper than him.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call. I don't know. We're not going to really have to probably deal with a whole lot here from this Portland side at forward, right? Like Greg Brown, he's going to play probably 16 to 20 minutes. We're going to have to talk about Watford, who's a guy who's going to probably be on the floor more at the center spot here for Portland in the absence of Nurkic. There's still no Cody Zeller. But maybe Greg Brown for 3,200. Is that getting a little too weird? What if he pops up in a starting lineup late?
Yeah, it might be Greg Ward or Trenton Watford, but Watford's a shorter player. Greg Brown could get the start. They did waive Cody Zeller a couple weeks ago. Yes. They didn't get any big men in the trades that they we might see a G League call-up potentially. It's going to be really interesting what Portland does because we haven't dealt with the situation in a while. My guess is they might go super small. They did sign a 10-day Eubanks to the deal the other day. He's going to definitely see some minutes as he primarily plays the center spot. So, like, they have their three main dogs. It's Hart, Winslow, and Simons. That's their big three. Yeah, I'm calling them a big three. They've been pretty outstanding for fantasy-wise over the last 2 weeks.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So, but
if you were watching us on YouTube, you saw the look I gave you. It was not enjoyable. But go ahead.
But in terms of the front court rotational minutes, right? It's going to go. We might see Winslow play some 4-3, Alabi along those same lines. It's going to come down to Watford and Drew Eubanks playing the majority of those minutes, and Greg Brown are those three guys. We might see I don't know. They might those three guys might just split minutes at the 5. I've seen Watford play at the 4. So I expect Watford to get the most minutes at this moment, followed by Eubanks, then Brown. But that could completely be flipped. I'm just running the rotation off the top of my head at this moment.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there is that we don't know, and it'll be 10 p.m. and we can make inferences. I think Drew Eubanks getting brought in. I think I would do the same order, but would it surprise me if somehow Greg Brown showed up there, 3,200? No. So I want to at least throw it out there. 22 minutes of him wouldn't be the worst thing that ever happened to me. I wanted to at least put him on people's radars so that it's not the late night hammer and all of a sudden at 3,200, Greg Brown is starting and nobody had talked about him all day, even though I'm assuming somebody will talk about him at some point. Just saying, DeMar DeRozan 10-6 over on the old FanDuel.com. Jason Tatum 9,900, power forward there. Domantas Sabonis as well, 9,600 we're looking at there. Anthony Edwards 8,100, another good tag for him. But this is where it gets really fascinating for me. Robert Williams is 7,800 here and didn't play the last 2 games here. I don't think I'll be going his direction, but Evan Mobley, 7,500. Jared Allen, 7,200. I'm not saying that, they're going to have to spike massive offense here or anything, but with no Karis LeVert and no Darius Garland, I think we're going to be maybe looking at some guards from Cleveland, but we have to give some offensive bumps to guys like Mobley, Allen, and then even, of course, 6th man, one time for Greg Ehrenberg, sixth man, Kevin Love. We could be looking at playing a lot of Cleveland bigs here today on this slate. Can you rank them for me on FanDuel?
Yeah, so I do think Lauri Markkanen is expected to return.
He is, correct.
So that's going to muddy the situation there, where at one point, I still think it's an appealing spot to go to, but it's not as great as it could have been if there was no Markkanen, right?
So 4,600 Markkanen is where it's at.
Yeah, and I do think if you want to just have lowest risk, it would be him if there's no minutes limit for a guy like him. So yeah, I have no issues playing Markkanen at that price tag. I mean, on FanDuel, if you are on that price tag, guys who have a small forward, power forward eligibility, we have the likes of DeAndre Hunter, Otto Porter, and then there's CJ Allaby, and then Watford all the way at $3,500, looking at that range. We're going to get Jeremy Grant north of like 50% for the Ford Straits NBA slate at sub 6K. He's $5,900. He's been very popular of late.
Yeah.
But the upside is there for a guy like Jeremy Grant. I have no issues to play him. We'll see what those minutes look like down the stretch, though. I mean, it's against Detroit. Anyone can really get there, Mobley and Jared Allen. Jared Allen, 7,200 seems a little too cheap now for the upside he contains in a Detroit spot, especially on power forward center eligibility where you get the blocks bonus. Brooklyn is going to be kind of shorthanded. We might see Aldridge get a few extra minutes at 5,500. We've seen the upside there. Darius Bazley kind of off the table now with SGA back in the picture. Desmond Bane, 6,500, priced appropriately right now. No reason to get him. If you fall on him, sure. Not looking to aggressively get there by any means. In the next tier, guys, it's an all right position. It seems like there's some decent value to spend down. Spending up, we have Tatum and Sabonis. No issues going there. DeMar DeRozan, a little too expensive now, 10-6. But, man, he's been amazing. He's kind of burned me of late. I have not been excited to roster a 10K plus DeMar DeRozan.
With Levine back, though, I bet I can find myself off of a little bit.
I hope so, man. He played the last couple games.
Incredible.
No, there was not. He didn't play with Levine.
He didn't play the last couple, no, because he was out getting his knee looked at. So I'm going to be shying away from DeRozan 10K.
I've got to be. Yeah, I can't. He's been great. I do think there's got to be some regression to come from DeMar DeRozan. He's obviously been great. But
did you see the exchange with Luka where he's like, I've never seen you miss a mid-range shot? 19 for 20 or something in practice.
Wouldn't it be nice if those mid-range shots were 3-pointers, right? But I guess that's why I make DeMar DeRozan kind of a Carmelo light in the sense. But Carmelo could shoot the three at a pretty decent clip. So that's giving DeMar DeRozan a little too much credit.
Mm-hmm. Last guy I'll throw out there, Mikal Bridges, 5,500, kind of in that mid-range. If you land on him, it's 40 minutes of a guy in competitive games now. No Chris Paul. Mikal Bridges might shoot the ball better than, or shoot the ball a couple more times, and 0.7 fantasy point producer just isn't that exciting. But I will say his circumstances have changed. Going to have to be a guy who maybe scores a little bit. We'll see. 5,500, I'm okay taking that shot. Let's head to our sponsor, Yahoo, here, top end of forward there. DeMar DeRozan, $46. I'm probably going to be shying away again there. But Jason Tatum, $41. I'm definitely not. Evan Mobley, $30. That's fascinating. Jaren Jackson Jr., again, I had kind of talked about this Memphis-Minnesota game, 239 total. The guy accumulates blocks. He does it at a ridiculous pace. So a guy I'm okay clicking on the name of there. I like him a little bit more than Anthony Edwards at the exact same tag just because of the spike up there. It's weird because I think Anthony Edwards is a little bit more expensive on FanDuel and DraftKings compared to Jaren Jackson Jr., but maybe it's just the positionality of it too. Looking at power forward, the strict positionality of it as opposed to the small forward position. I think there's just so many guys that are underpriced. Josh Hart, $26. Seth Curry's a small forward now, $19 over on Yahoo. Going a little bit cheaper, your Cedi Osman's $11. A lot of small forwards that I like here. What sticks out to you on the forward position on our sponsor, Yahoo?
Yeah, looking at the forward spot on Yahoo, it's definitely a spot where you can definitely spend up, but guys who you want to take some chances on, I really like the $28 a piece for Edwards and Jaren Jackson Jr. They're great. I'd rather save off of the guys of DeRozan and Tatum. Prefer Tatum to DeRozan kind of straight up, honestly. Looking a bit lower, I think Jeremy Grant, 25 is great. Josh Hart continues to just ball out. $26. We might see him in the low 30s when it's all said and done by the end of the season. it's going to be his show. Remember, there's no Nurkic now, so some extra usage is going to sprinkle on to the big three in Portland. But now, if you're looking for spend down value, DeAndre Hunter, $14. We saw Gallinari start a couple games there, $11. As GPP of a play it gets nowadays in Atlanta, it's unfortunate. I would like them to play Gallo more minutes. He's a very awesome offensive player, but I get it. The defensive liability is not probably Nate McMillan's liking, is why we're seeing him ride the bench a little bit more nowadays. Greg Brown, $10 here, just pointing out the situation in Portland. Keep an eye on that. Bruce Brown Jr., $14, forward eligibility. He's going to have to play a handful of minutes as they have nobody at this moment really on this team just because they're kind of shorthanded and there's no Kyrie Irving. Chetty Osman is $11. We might see him start tomorrow in that situation in Cleveland.
Love it. A great summary. To center we go, rounding out the first NBA Slate Starter back from the break. Feels good. It feels right to be back here. And of course, Nikola Jokic is on the slate at 12-5 going up against Sacramento. And Richaun Holmes' defense, front court getting murdered in Sacramento. Well, now it's Domantas Sabonis. I expect the front court to still get massacred here. So Jokic, 12-5. Smoke if you got him. Probably the right way of saying it. Nikola Vucevic, 10-1. Way too much with Levine back. Karl Anthony Towns, 9,800. I love that. That will be something I'm invested in. Jared Allen, even with Lauri Markkanen back, I can make a case 7,600 there for him. But the guy who really stands out to me at the center position, I think he's going to be popular, and I want to get your take on him. DeAndre Ayton, 6,900, OKC. He gets a lovely combination of Darius Bazley and Alexei Pokusevski and Isaiah Roby and all of those cats. He should eat here, no?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I love DeAndre Ayton at that price tag, and I think he should. It's $1,000 too cheap for the role he's going to have to play down the stretch here. So we're going to see a lot of playoff Ayton-esque numbers down the stretch, I think. So I have no issues if he's here spend up at center. And there's Vooch, and there's Cat, and then there's Jokic. We're going to get a couple more weeks of Jokic till the Blue Arrow and Jamal Murray is back, and we're not going to see Jokic price this expensive as the load's going to go to Jamal Murray, and Patricia Porter might return in April. The Nuggets are not the craziest long shot championship odds team right now. I think they're 35-1 at this moment. And team that when on the court together, they're pretty fun to watch when all healthy. But the team hasn't been healthy since last April when Murray tore that ACL. But looking at some center guys, no real reason to spend down outside of Trent and Watford at $3,400. There's Bagley center eligibility and Aldridge, but spending up is the way to go. I really like Ayton across the board. We might see Andre Drummond start $6,300. Can put up 20 and 10 in 25 minutes. That's how Drummond's game kind of is. 15 and 10. The double-double was Andre Drummond's floor at one point, but if he stays on the court, if he gets that 30-minute upside, which would be great for Drummond, I think you can definitely go to him. I have no issues playing Andre Drummond tomorrow. And 9-8 Karl Anthony Towns and a Steven Adams matchup. There was a stretch in Oklahoma City where Steven Adams balled out against Karl Anthony Towns. That has changed in recent years, but Adams is going to require to be on the court as much as he can. He's priced appropriately at $5,600. It's not the craziest tournament play, I think.
Yeah, I'd rather go $200 up to Clint Capella, $5,800. He played really good, played 31 minutes, 2 games in a row, and then only played 23 against Orlando because they blew them out of the water there the last game before the break. But no John Collins expected there, $5,800 Capella. Probably prefer him for $200 more. Do you like him before we head to FanDuel?
Yeah, I don't mind Capella, honestly, on both sides. And I think hopefully those minutes go up into the low 30s. But the reason why he's not been playing those minutes is because Nick Kong has just been playing pretty well.
That's good.
And Capella should be needed for the Vooch matchup, but we'll see. I'll go there, but depending on the ownership.
Yep, we'll see what that lands on. I think Ayton, Jokic, that helps me feel like I shouldn't get Capella at 20% or something, 25. If I do, probably shying away because there's definitely a floor. But low 30s is what you had in competitive games before there, even with Okongwu there. No John Collins, definitely helpful. Nikola Jokic, 11-4 over on FanDuel. That's too cheap. Nikola Vucevic, $9,700. That's too much. Domantas Sabonis, $9,600. Karl Anthony Towns, $9,500. That is really nice to be looking at. DeAndre Ayton, same thing, 7K there. Feel pretty good about him on both sites there. Capella 6,100. I'm with you. I think that I could probably fire that up here, both sites, but really going down all the way to the cellar. If I'm going to do it, I mean, it's so weird because Trendon Watford's power forward only on FanDuel, so you don't have to think about that. Greg Brown's 3,600. They're power forward only, so there's really no like super cheap center to be going to. It's going to be a lot of just hammering that mid-range and expensive spots here over on FanDuel. You only get to play one. Who do you prefer the most on FanDuel, Ryan?
I really like Ayton at 7K. It makes a lot of sense to fall on him, but if you want to spend it for Jokic, 11-4 in a Sacramento spot, no issues going there. And the next year, there's Cat and Sabonis. Both got tournament winning upside. And then Jared Allen's cheap. Center's loaded, and you can only play one tomorrow. This is going to be tough. And then there's Andre Drummond at 6,700, and Capella at 61. Tough center slate, man. Oh, wow. It's going to be interesting to see where the ownership falls on, and there's enough value to get in Jokic. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of these guys are going to be well-rested and going to look fresh, honestly, with 6 days off. So we might get some monster performances from the center spot on FanDuel especially.
Well, then play more on DraftKings and our sponsor Yahoo, where you can play 2 centers because then you don't have that problem, even though I'm going to play all 3 sites. Per usual, Nikola Jokic, I don't know. Whenever there's Vooch and him on the same slate, I just switch the way it comes out in my brain. Not a cool story. Nikola Vucevic there, $42. Karl Anthony Towns, $41. Domantas Sabonis, $39. Center only there, of course, on Yahoo. Strict positionality, but $25 DeAndre Ayton, that's going to be popular. $21 Clint Capella. We'll see how popular that ends up being. I don't see anything under 21 that I really want to be firing up other than Trendon Watford, but Drew Eubanks, only spot you can roster him, I believe, for tomorrow is on our sponsor Yahoo. They were sharp enough not to release their pricing until later today. Therefore, Drew Eubanks is in the pool at $10. If he's starting, that might be the guy to fire up, no?
Yeah, you're going to definitely be excited, but I don't know. Yeah, if he starts, he's going to be very low on because no one will know that he's starting until we get that lineup. So the opportunity cost of missing out guys on like Ayton at 25, Jokic at all the way up there. Sabonis is priced favorably. I don't think it's necessary. I think there's a lot of other confident value in the spend on spot on Yahoo on other positions, but I don't mind if you get there. We have also Watford at $10. And he might could produce produce better than Eubanks and potentially could start. So it's a situation where I want to kind of avoid until more certainty, just because there's such strong center plays and they're priced appropriately. Where Eubanks is fine, but what's the upside in a Golden State spot where Golden State could go small, Eubanks could get played off the court, and there are a lot of ways where it could fail. More ways I think it could fail than succeed, but one way that it could definitely succeed is the price tag for $10 Eubanks. You get a $17 Aldridge, who played really well in that Knicks game. Drummond is priced up here at $29. He's priced appropriately. It's a slate where DeAndre Ayton seems like this way to go, and spending up for Jokic or one of the guys in Cat and Vooch, I have no issues doing so. Not really looking to spend down on Yahoo, unless if you're looking for a utility guy. If you fall on utility, one of the Portland guys, that's fine. But there are some decent double center options on the slate.
I probably agree with that for sure. I might take a shot or two just because we'll have some guys, maybe Gary Payton or something, you could put in a utility spot and pivot. Obviously, you could just play Watford and then pivot to whoever starts between him or Eubanks in the $10 spot. Not something to do in a 1 or even 10 lineup kind of scenario, but if you're playing a larger portfolio on Yahoo, I don't completely hate it. Ryan, first NBA Slate Starter back from the break in the books here, under 40 minutes. Well done by us. Well done by you, especially. Any final words for the people as we get back to it on Thursday?
Yeah, obviously hitting the like button, 5-star reviews across the board would be amazing. And excited to be back. The final stretch of the NBA regular season, and it can be a frenzy in a hurry. So gear up.
He's Ryan. He's well rested. I'm Eric. I have a dog. I'm never rested. We'll see you guys later.